ladies and gentlemen of the 118 scale, 3.75 inch, 4-inch modern action figure community, I'm back again with another video. And in this video, we're going to be discussing none other than Vietnam era action figures. So, what do we know about the Vietnam War? Personally, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I researched some things. So, the Vietnam War began around November 1st, 1955. And this war was between North and South Vietnam. The North was becoming increasingly more communist, and the North wanted that to spread. However, the South decided they had more values towards anti-communism, and they just decided that, hey, you know what, we're not doing this. So a war ensued. However, it depends on who you talk to. This was kind of a proxy war fought between the North, who was being backed by the Soviet Union and China, and the South, who was being backed by America and some other allies. Ultimately, America would eventually become involved in this war by putting boots on the ground. They didn't necessarily put boots on the ground until about around 1965. And there was a series of things that happened which caused the Americans to become involved. First and foremost, you had the Gulf of Tonkin incident, where this was an interesting incident because this just goes to show how nations become involved in wars because they want to, not necessarily because they have to. And what happened in this particular incident was it was beefed up that North Vietnam attacked the Americans in the Gulf of Tonkin, and what ultimately happened there, I don't know whether they knew or not, but it was a weather phenomenon that pretty much made it look as if the Americans were being attacked by North Vietnamese. And apparently, depends on who you talk to, few people knew that it was a blip on the radar. However, they didn't relay that information, and they allowed, the Americans to become involved. So the war was actually fought in Laos, Vietnam, and Cambodia. So pretty much now the U.S. have become involved. And I don't know. I really don't know if America involving themselves in this war was really a good thing, and I really can't say that we won it. As time went on, approximately 3 years later, there was a situation that was referred to as the Tet Offensive, and this is probably the largest scale operation in the Vietnam War, where the North Vietnamese launched numerous attacks on the American troops. This was a terrible one. This war was it was bloody. It ruined a lot of lives. If you were in New York in the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, you would see a lot of these soldiers came home and they were just mentally out of it. They were all homeless. They're still wearing their fatigues with their name on it. And it was just sad, Ironically, Laos and Cambodia, after all of this, they still became communists. So I guess we didn't really, I don't know if we won that war, So anyway, moving right along, I thought it would be good to just shed a little bit of Vietnam era knowledge on you if you don't know. I mean, if you don't know anything about the Vietnam War and we're collecting these things, hey, here's a little knowledge for you. So, arguably, one of the best toy companies out there is the Marauders Task Force. And so, like I was saying, sorry, I got a little mixed up on something. I got distracted. The ugly thumb, so I'll put a Band-Aid on it. But anyway, Marauders probably one of the best toy companies uh, in the modern era. Decided to take it upon themselves to recreate Vietnam troops from both sides. What you have here is some Vietnamese troops, and if you look at films and stuff of the Vietnam era, you would see Vietnamese troops that were adorned in United States military garb. And that was because, remember, the South was aligned with America. So a lot of those troops would fight with Americans and get American equipment. So let's take a look at what we have here. So we have a North Vietnamese trooper. I believe this guy's going to be the gunner, and then this guy is going to be the rocketeer, I think they called him. But anyway, this is what you're getting from the Marauders these days. I mean, this is done really well. Let's do a 360 on them, then we'll put some gear on. Can you imagine being a soldier with your feet out like that? That just goes to show how hardened these guys were. This is a new head sculpt. Pretty cool. But both of these figures came with the same head sculpt. So I took it upon myself to take one of the older head sculpts from the from the World War II era, and with a little work, it fit right on. So there's my next soldier, which is cool for me because now I have an extra head sculpt that I can use for something else later on down the line. So they both look pretty much identical. Now with these figures, they're a little different. You have a lot of joint movement in the head here. See? Yeah, play dead. Yeah. All right, there you go. Pretty much same arm movements, but here they have the rocker ankles, which we didn't really see in Marauders figures up until now. So let's put some equipment on these guys. So we'll start with him first. First and foremost, he comes with an extra set of forearms, rolled up sleeves, with an extra set of hands on there. All right, next, a lot of equipment on him. He's got a figure stand, pretty cool. Nothing written on it, but these are cool. I like these. He's got a neck scarf, or depends on how you look at it. Gangsta, gangsta. Let's go ahead and put this on him. And is this supposed to go to the front? Yeah, I think that's supposed to go to the front like that. Let's look at. Apparently, he has some very difficult things to put on him, and it came with instructions on how to do these things. So here are the instructions. You can pause and read those if you would like. Awesome. So, with that being said, these particular figures, if you wanted to get your hands on them, you had to be a part of the Kickstart and support them. And it took a long time. I think it took from about, from like 2020, 2021, somewhere around there up until now. So, it's got a backpack. Let's slip that backpack on there. Like that. Should I have done that first? I don't know. All right, then we'll put his ammo belt on. He's got a lot of equipment. I'm going to put all of it on him too. Let's put that on. Does he have a K-bar? Nice little knife. Alright, so I'll put a bunch of his equipment on. Now let's drop this backpack in here. Yeah, I did it off camera because it would have taken me another 10 minutes to get all this stuff situated. He's got a ton of equipment. So he's got these two old school grenades here. Let's get a look at those. This is pretty much what it looks like. And it has a little pouch here for them. So we'll slip those in. Do they go upside down to stick in better? I don't know. Well, I'm going with that. I tell you what, Marauders definitely changed the game, especially with every other company switching on us and going to 6-inch figures. Marauders never seems to disappoint. They always give us something cool and something to look forward to, because I mean, we got impatient on these, and it was very much worth the wait. These things are cool. He has his dagger, slips in right there. Let's see if I can get that in there without knocking all of his stuff off of him. And last but not least, he has his hat. And his rifle. Take it from me. Heat these things up before you go messing with them. Try and get that in his hand right there. And he's ready to go. Awesome. And we'll put him on his figure stand. I highly doubt that he'll stand up good on this soft background I got here. But just imagine, man, in any type of weather you're fighting, you're in the military, and this is what you gotta wear. Your damn feet are out, and let's get that on there. And there he is, and all of his equipment. Awesome. All right. So while off camera, I put this guy together. We'll talk about the subtle differences with him. Both of these guys are jam-packed with weaponry. This gentleman here, his backpack's a little different. He's the Rocketeer, so he's got a backpack for his rockets. They snap in. This rocket is removable and replaceable with these. All the other equipment is pretty much the same. I also forgot to mention, in this new system of figures, how they're putting these figures together, he does have a thigh swivel right here. As you see, these guys are super cool. Really good job on the part of Marauders for bringing this historical characters to life. They both have their shovel. Although I don't really have a place to put it because he doesn't have pegs in his backpack. And this guy also comes with a sidearm. If I can hold on to it. My hands are really dry. I've been in water all day. So, you see that? Very nicely detailed. He does have a holster. Let's go ahead and get that set up. Sorry, I'm knocking this camera around. Anyway, looks pretty good. This is what you're getting here. Awesome. So, with that being said, these figures are pretty cool. They are done well, and I personally have no complaints about these guys. Really good job, Marauders. I mean, I sing their praises, and let me go on to say that I've not been paid by them. These were not figures given to me for a review. I actually purchased these with my own money. And, I guess what this tells me is for the next time they decide they want to do a Kickstarter, hey, drop a couple bucks on them, trust the process and be patient. So I think these figures are pretty cool. I do not have the American version yet. I'm waiting for those to come out on the site here, hopefully this month. And when I get my hands on them, I'll present them to you. But if you can get your hands on these guys, I suggest you do it. But be patient because they're coming to the site. But right now, I'm seeing these guys on eBay for $70, and don't fall for that. At least not yet. All right. So with that being said, I think I'm going to end this video right here. I hope I didn't miss anything. I hope I didn't ramble on too long about the war, but I thought it was just, since we're getting these figures, let's discuss it. All right. So with that being said, questions or comments, feel free, put them down below. I'll get to them at my earliest convenience. All right. Until the next one. Peace.